said, clearing up the drama with Wanda.
Hey, it's me, Wanda B, and you are tuned into He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com. This is Sunday. It's fun day. I love to bring the fun. I love Sundays. If you were tuned in, we just got finished listening to Empowering Moments with Coach T. She brought the man's perspective on Black love. It was a good show. If you missed it, you can go back and hear it on IntellectualRadio.com. You can view it on YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts, anywhere you like to listen to streamed broadcasts, you can hear IntellectualRadio.com, which is fabulous. Okay, this show today is brought to you by another one of my Intellectual Radio hosts. So what is so exciting is she has started a business, and it's called I's Married Now. Now, I don't know if that's how she says it. It probably isn't, but that's the way I'm saying it. I's Married Now. So I's Married Now is the custom ceremonial broom maker. So you know how you jump the broom? Okay, she has made a business out of this, a jump in the broom. So she makes the brooms, decorative brooms, customizable for your weddings, your anniversaries, for milestone birthdays, 21st, 40th, 50th birthday. You can have a customizable broom, or just because maybe you just want decoration around your house, and she can make it customizable any color you like. So you got to check it out. Call Kim Bruno at 708. Why am I doing this without my glasses? Y'all like, girl, we watch you every week and we know you can't see, so I don't know who you fooling. Let's put on some glasses. Okay, you can hang them on your door, you can hang them in your home. The prices start at $60. Give Kim Bruno a call. The number is 708-983-5102. That's 708-983-5102. So who I have with me? You say, who is that beautiful lady you have on the screen? Is that Kim? No, that's not Kim. Kim is not on the screen. But who I do have with me is certified sexologist Sean Wilson. Hello, Sean.
Hello.
Now, I'm going to say that the people who know me, follow the show, know that I am a stepper. It's something I do, one of my fun habits that I love so much. And yesterday, I'm out, I'm dancing, and a guy comes to me. He was like, you know that show you did with the sexologist? I really like that show. He does not talk like that, but that's my version of a man talking to me voice. And he was like, I really like that show. I really was paying attention to that. I was like, really? Because she coming back tomorrow. So I'm really hoping that he's tuned in and people are tuned in. Lots of feedback about that particular show. And another guy came to me and was like, I really enjoyed that show. So who knew? I mean, people were paying attention. So it's nice to have you back again, Sean.
Thank you. And I'm happy to be back.
So I love what we do. And Sean is an expert. For some people, they call you the doc. So one of our friends calls her the doc because he gets educated. And I mean, she does healing for him. So that's you also. So explain, I like to do this every show because you may be new to some. So explain what a certified sexologist is.
So a certified sexologist is really just making sure that your relationships, both in and out of the bedroom, is happy and satisfying and fulfilling. So I want you to be present in the moment, take it all in, enjoy it, enjoy the moments of it. Get out your head. Stop bringing in all this extra crap that we like to bring into relationships and into our bedrooms, and make sure that it's on point every single time. So that's what I do.
Thank you so much. And that is so needed. And because of that last show, I have had people come to me and with different things they wanted to discuss. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, you know what? When she comes back, I'm definitely going to bring up that topic. Right. And so, you know what? I'll just take a break. When we come back, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to be back with certified sexologist Sean Wilson, and she's going to be answering this question for you. Now, you're going to think it's kind of, but are you effable? And I'm going to let you guess what the F stands for in this. Are you effable? When we come back to He Said, She Said with Wanda B on IntellectualRadio.com.
You said you loved me, but lately I've been feeling like that was just a lie. Yeah. And you said you needed me, then why you wanna leave me out here to try? I just gone up and walk away. I'm not leaving, I'm just asking you to stay with me. Mixed emotions and the games you play. Used to love and lay up all day. I'm stressed, you don't know what makes me feel this way. I guess I'ma have a hot girl summer.
Hey, it's me, Wanda B, and we're back. This is He Said, She Said with Wanda B on IntellectualRadio.com. I'm excited. It is Sunday. It is our fun day, and I'm here with certified sexologist Sean Wilson. We're going to get kind of, now, she's going to make us stop clutching our pearls. This is her goal in life, is to stop clutching our pearls when we say things. This is the Unclutchable Pearl Show. So we're going to be having those conversations that we should be having, we don't have, we're uncomfortable having, and we're going to be having today. And I'm going to give some quick shout outs before we get into our topic with the sexologist to Kim Natasha, who is the owner of Eyes Married Now. She's going to be like, if you don't stop saying it like that, but come on, don't it make you want to say it like that? Is Eyes Married Now, who is a sponsor of today's show, fully customizable brooms for any occasion. 708-983-5102. And we have Chevelle Simone, all my hosts be chiming in. Thank you all. I so appreciate you. You have to check out her show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. on IntellectualRadio.com. Soulful Stimulation, which may go into what we're talking about today. But she's a very inspirational show. So check her out Tuesdays at 6 p.m. here on IntellectualRadio.com. So let's get into the topic. So I'm going to bring up so what I really want to know on the Are We Effable, which I'm going to save that because I really have some questions because this came up in our last show. Now, I do quite a few shows with Sean. So we also have Wind Down Wednesdays that we do on the new Media Tech app. So I don't know. New Media Tech. Yes. I don't know if this came up here on this show at IntellectualRadio.com or on that show on a Wind Down Wednesday. But you were explaining some reasons why people are not effable. And they want to be, whether they're in relationships. And we are honestly promoting healthy relationships here on IntellectualRadio.com. He said, she said we want to be. Yes. We want healthy, consensual relationships that involve sex. So that's what we're trying to have here, what we're talking about. So that is it. And I'm reading comments at the same time. I'm multitasking with my eyes and my thoughts. They have to catch up with each other. So, but before we get to that, what I want us to talk about is a question someone asked me and said, you have to ask Sean Wilson this. And I said, you know what? I'm going to ask you. I haven't done it on Intellectual Radio. I do think I brought this up on another show, but I'm going to bring it up now. So he says that when he's talking to women and they're having conversations, if he doesn't discuss sex right away with the woman, that he either feels like she may say that
I think he's
gay or something's wrong or he's not that interested in her. And that has come up often. And so what would you say to that?
There's really nothing to say to it. It's unfortunate that we have become so casual with sex and so unintentional with it that we just assume that should come before getting to know someone, right? So he's going the correct way of saying, hey, Let me get to know you. Let you get to know me. Let's see if we have something in common. And they're saying, well, wait a minute, you're taking too long. It's been a week.
But we think women don't actually do those things. I think I hear a lot of women say that men talk about it right away and too soon. But can it be that women also are in some ways expecting it too soon?
They are expecting it, right? And so and so when we say expecting it, it's also a level of respect. Like, how do you view yourself that you feel that someone should immediately start to look at you as a sexual object, and then you get offended when they look at you as a sexual object, right?
Right.
So we're really confusing ourselves with it. So it's really knowing what it is that you want, taking your time to get it, and just getting back to the times where we actually took our time to get to know each other. Go out, right? Enjoy each other out in public. We don't have to Netflix and chill right away, And so, but that is what people are accustomed to now. I don't know what age range the guy was that said that, but
younger than us. Me,
right?
I don't know about you, but I don't know your age. I know mine, and I will say that younger.
Yeah, and so that younger age is a little bit different than older people. All right. We kind of take our times with things. Younger people now, they go all in and they go in fast. But to him, I would just say, well, keep doing what you're doing. You're going to find someone that will meet you where you are. And that's who you're looking for, right? So where's he finding these women that he's talking to? I don't know, right? Or maybe he can just, have the conversation about sex and see what happens. Have the conversation. It doesn't mean you're going to do it, but have the conversation about it. Right? He can always ask, what are your feelings around sex, and how soon after you meet someone or you're in a relationship that you feel it's deemed appropriate to even start to have sex with someone. Put it back on them. See what they say.
Oh, that does lead to a good discussion. So someone
Absolutely.
says, is it wrong to see each other as sexual objects when that's the original design? That's how the universe designed us, right?
We are sexual beings. Absolutely. I agree with that totally. But we also have to remember what that looked like, right? We start talking about, because people like to go back to that, right? Back in the day. Yes, we are sexual beings and we are sexually attracted to people. But having that sexual attraction doesn't mean that you go into sexual intercourse with someone, right? That's just that initial attraction. That's the being effable part of it, right?
Let's talk about that. I want to get into that.
So you looked at someone and you said, "Oh, they look effable." Yeah, right. But before you actually do that, don't you want to get to know them and see if there's something more to them than just that? All right.
I think some people don't, right? I mean, that's wrong, but it's
no, it's not wrong if that's what you want.
Okay.
You have to be honest about that, though. If that's really what you want and you just want to have some casual sex with someone, have a good time, no strings attached, don't get upset when they're not calling you every day and checking in on you and showing up if your mother passed away and you need some support and they're not there. They're casual. So you have to be very clear on if that's what you want, right?
That's true. That's true.
We muddy the waters for ourselves, right? We say we want one thing and we really don't.
So I want to get into I want to read this comment, and why I can't see it because it says Facebook user. Do you see that comment, Sean?
There is something to be said about a man who is probably thinking about it, but has the discipline to take some time to get to know you. There is something to that, right? It's called maturity. Absolutely, Facebook user. It's called maturity. When you have the discipline to say, I want more out of a relationship than just some sex. And we all know that sex it feels much better when you have a connection with someone.
So
right? So when I get there first. So it's called buddy, she says. You're right. So, but Chevelle, But Chevelle, you better keep it as that.
That's the thing, is keeping it as that, if that's the level of what you want. But how do you keep it like that, certified sexologist Sean Wilson? Tell them, is there a trick to that, or what would you say to that?
Absolutely. I don't need to talk to you every day. I don't need to hear about none of your problems. I don't want to meet your children. I don't want to meet your family. We just hanging out, having a good time. Come take me to the show, or we go out to dinner, once or twice a month, whatever the case may be. That's it. You don't have to bring me no soup when I'm sick, because you're casual. You are an F buddy. F buddy means F. That's all we're doing is effing. That's it. That's all.
And people muddy the waters with that then if they start adding relationship things to it. But that's not our goal. We're just answering that question. We're trying. But okay, so back to this came up, and I forgot how we talked about it. But no, I do remember. I think it was under the vein of some people have fallen. Maybe that's not the best word, but there are ways that you could presenting yourself in a way that makes you not be effable in relationships, and we're going to talk from the we're not promoting. I think people know how to get F buddies. I think we're talking about sex and relationships, sex and dating, healthy relationships, healthy things. All of this is based on, not that being an F buddy isn't healthy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that that's not where I'm coming from with this at the moment. Now, if you wind up with that based on this, that's on you, but that's where we're coming from. So explain that. And I don't remember the exact conversation, because we've had so many shows together recently, Sean and I, that they're all starting to blend. But when we talk about this, some people are not presenting themselves in a way that becomes effable, especially if you're in a relationship and we haven't been having sex. I think this is how it's coming back to me. We haven't been having sex. He's not attracted to me, or vice versa. And you really gave some good tips on this. What do you say to that, Sean?
So presenting yourself as someone that's affable has nothing to do with being sexualized. It's not necessarily about how you dress. It's back to your confidence level, right? How do you feel about self first? So when you're comfortable and you go out the house, you're looking your best. And I'm not saying all done up with makeup, but that you just look your best, right? You always want to look your best. You want to feel your best. What do you do for yourself, right? If you want someone to do something for you, if you're not doing it for yourself first, I think it's unrealistic to expect someone else to do it for you, right? And so how do you get yourself ready to receive the energy of a partner? And are you even ready to receive that energy, right? And so here's an example. If you're walking down the street and someone speaks to you that you're not attracted to, you immediately have an attitude, or it's like, why are you speaking to me? Or I'm not interested. Instead of just saying thank you, right? Or hello, right? That's a level of just respect and confidence and acceptance of someone else just being friendly to you. It doesn't mean you have to go on a date with them. It doesn't mean you have to give them your number, any of that. They just said, oh, hey, sister, you look good. Or, hey, brother, you look nice, right? And we can't even accept that.
What are you looking at? Who you talking to?
Right. We immediately think. And I remember asking a guy, I said, if you were in a bar with your guys, right? Y'all standing at the bar having a good time. And there's a group of women over there, and they start making their way towards you just to say, hey, how you doing? What do you think? Do you think that they're interested in you sexually? And they all said, well, first they try to say, no, I just think they want to talk. But then they finally admitted there is something that goes off in our brains that the minute the opposite sex says something to you, we immediately think that they want to be with you. That's not true. Can't we just have friends? Can't we just have conversations? Can't we just get to know each other? Maybe I'm looking at you because I think, there's somebody I might want you to meet, right? Who says I'm looking at you for me? Maybe I'm looking at you for Wanda B. I don't know, right? I'm just saying.
That does happen.
You're right. So it's just about being confident in who you are. That is the most sexiest thing ever. When you are sensually confident, when you enjoy
Sensually
your
confident. I like that
sensually.
term. So how do you
Yeah.
become sensually confident? What are some
Mhm.
ways to become sensually confident?
Sensuality is about you. Sexuality is about you and someone else,
Ooh,
right?
okay.
So
Sensuality is about you.
you,
Sexuality is you and someone else.
sex,
Got it. Okay.
sex. How are we going to enjoy this experience, right? But sensuality is about how do you take in your life, right? How do you really enjoy, the food, your surroundings? Is your home presentable for whatever energy you want in? Like I said the other day, you can't say you want romance and you're sleeping with half your office on your bed. That just doesn't make any sense, right? Or you can't have anyone over to dinner because your dinner table is, filled with stuff,
Work.
right? So you're not even ready. You're not even ready to really be in a fulfilling relationship because you're not even together. I keep forgetting the person. You're not together. I'll put the money in the jar when I see you.
Earl, did you hear that? Earl is our super producer here who has and Sean knows about our swear jar here. She said, I'll put the dollar in for you.
Right.
So,
Right. Right. So you want to have that energy of just, who you are. You're happy with who you are. You're content with who you are. And when someone comes into your space, they feel happy too. Right? How do people feel when they are around you?
How do people feel when they are around you? And that really starts with self, because if you really realize how contagious, if someone's in a bad mood, next thing you know, you may fight off getting funky, but after a while, you're responding to them in a way that you didn't even want to respond. It's contagious. Funkiness is contagious, but also good energy is just as contagious. Toussaint said it is energy and confidence that is alluring, and that all is what we're saying adds to you being effable. When we talk about in a one sentence, are you effable? The one thing, some of the things that it starts with, I guess the biggest thing is self, is yourself. And so thank you so much, Sean, for that, because it's that is what makes you sensual when you are feeling good about yourself, and that could be mentally as well as physically.
All of that.
It all ties in together. So you're talking to, and thank you for everybody who's chiming in. I so appreciate it. Hi, Penny. Thank you for always coming into the show. I appreciate you as well. Thank you. Hello, Felicia. And so for my dear IntellectualRadio.com listeners, I love to shout out our Facebook listeners as well, whether you're watching on YouTube. I appreciate you all just giving some of the Facebookers some love. So yes, it all starts with self, good energy, love. The energy, when you love yourself, it is so much easier to love others.
Also, and even how people, is that me? I'm hearing feedback. Even when someone says something, like for instance, we're in the group together, right?
And the group she's referring to, he said, she said, it is a group on Facebook. If you're watching the show, join our group. We have these kind of conversations all the time in the group. It's a Facebook group. Look for the logo, the yellow and black logo. He said, she said, like a bumblebee, like Wanda bee. That's what you'll find. Join the group. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. We have fun over there. But how easily people are triggered by a question, right? And that comes from lack of self, right? To me, they're funny, right? If someone says something, you just got to come back with another question. Everything should be light. We have to get more on the light and fluffy side of things. Everything is, people got these issues out here that these questions triggers, right? There are always these triggers, and you have people just coming back at you so hard where it's like, soften it a little bit. And I'm talking to men and women. I'm not just saying this on the women's side, because men have to be affable too. I mean, don't think that women are not as visual as men are.
Really? Because because it's often said that women are more mental and you have to attract their mental, and then men are the visual ones.
Who told you? Who said that?
I got that on Facebook. You know, it's true when you read it on Facebook. No,
some man said that.
Some man said that. They always saying stuff. Yeah, so
some man said that, right?
So we're visual too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're visual. So here's the thing. People say, when men have money, they don't need to have the looks. That might be true, but that goes both ways. If you had a woman that had a bunch of money, you kind of overlook some flaws of hers yourself, right? Especially if she was willing to give it to you, right?
That is funny.
But both sides need to show up as their best selves. Both sides need to be happy already, and be willing and open to receive and give energy, sexual energy to each other, sensual energy to each other, which means intimacy to each other, right? You have to be in that space already.
You have to be in that space of... So to get in that space is kind of what we're talking about, because work on your stuff. Yeah, work on your stuff.
You have to work on yourself. Listen, you have to be. Oh, so here's the thing. If you've been in a really bad relationship, instead of assuming that every person that you meet is going to be like that, or always waiting on the other shoe to drop, because that's what happens. Right? We're always waiting. The minute something happens, you can say, see, you're just like all the rest. Right? You really have to think about, what didn't you like? Right? What did they do that you didn't like? And what are the boundaries when it happens again?
Ooh, what are the boundaries for when it happens
again? Create your boundaries and your parameters if these things happen again.
And I also would like to add, sometimes besides the boundaries of if it happens again, the asking yourself why, how did I feel when that happened? Because there's some work to do on both sides, knowing your boundaries and knowing why you were triggered. Because sometimes it can go both ways, that maybe there's something to work on within you as well, so you don't bring that. Because if you have that assumption, and you mentioned that assumption that all men do this, you're looking for it the next time, and clearing that up, and so you can be open to love, to not be expecting it, because a lot of times it'll show up if you have that expectation.
Well, let me say this. It doesn't necessarily have to be that serious. So I always try to be transparent, because I've had my experiences. I have been in business all of my life. Right? I've never worked for anyone. And so I have always been in a position where I had to manage people, right? Time was a big thing. Now, remember, I was in the salon industry for 27 years, right? Had a salon. I worked on a schedule, a time schedule. No one was ever late. I was never late for clients. Time is important to me in business, right? So if I meet someone and they say, hey, let's get together tomorrow at 8:00, I'm not expecting you to show up at 8:20. That's a problem for me. Right?
Right. Now, how do they know that though?
Because you set the time. It's about respecting my time. Right?
But how do they know time is an issue for you?
You won't know it until you make the mistake of not showing up. Right? So What do we do on the first go round? Listen, everybody, can you please, Mr. Man, look, you said you were going to be here at 8:00, right? And 8:20, you didn't call, you didn't say you were running late. That's a problem, right? And they say, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And then I can't curse here, but you feed them and you F them, right? Right. So the next time they do it again and they're late again. And this is where in my book that I'm writing, there's a chapter that's called A Nagging Woman is a Woman Without Boundaries.
A nagging woman is
As
a
a woman
woman without boundaries.
Yes. Because if you're going to continue to give the person what they want, but you're going to keep complaining about what they're doing, you're just nagging. So they'll listen to you nag. They're going to get what they're going to want, what they want anyway. So why should they stop doing it? It's not stopping them from getting the reward.
So
right?
What are you saying to do for that?
So what I do, you show up late, you just don't get in. Because here's the thing. I don't have a problem with you being late. I have a problem with the communication of it.
Right.
You were running late 30 minutes before. You could have very well just said, hey, I'm running 30 minutes late. It's never about that issue, right? It's never about you being late. It's about the fact that you don't feel enough to respect my time enough to say, hey, Sean, I'm running 30 minutes late.
That's true.
Ooh. Right? So you create the situations where you say, well, fine, if that keeps happening, I'm just not there. Right? You show up if you want to show up. And hey, thank you for driving over here and ringing the bell, and you just ring, and then next time, and I've done that, and they always show up on time after that.
That is funny.
I'm not going to keep nagging you. So always think about the things that you didn't like in relationships and how you can change that. And even yourself, because I too have to be a little flexible. So the flexibility and the compromise is, look, if you're running late, it's not a problem that you're running late, just communicate. Communication is key in a lot of relationships. We just don't communicate what the issue is.
And I that part I do see, that if you have an issue with it, that person doesn't know you, and they may have their issue may be that they are a procrastinator and they waited to the last minute. Doesn't mean that some people are not, I think, intentionally trying to disrespect boundaries. You're in charge of your own boundaries and they're doing their own thing. So I do agree that with every action we do, there's a consequence, and people have to learn each other. And so, and it's never really okay to be late for anything unless there's an incident or, like you say, something happens. Exactly. But there are people who are habitually late like that. So yes, I agree. And I can't read. I'm going to read. Me and the glasses are going to be coming on and off. Work with me, people, today. So yes, I love to see a good looking man. I acknowledge that. You're going back to the confidence. And the being affable for men and women. I can acknowledge that looking together and confident, not ego, but confident. And confidence is important. So Two says on what we're talking about, business is a transactional relationship, and nagging because
that's not true.
You nagging because you're trying to train a human. That's his opinion, of course, he's saying.
Right, and that's why we shouldn't nag. You just say, hey, if that's who you are, that's not who I am. And so if you value who I am as a person, you will show up on time. That's a decision that you make. If you don't, you don't, and it's okay. And we have to be okay with the do's and the don'ts, right?
Right.
If I ask you a yes or no question, I have to be prepared for the no. I'm okay with that.
I think a lot of people aren't okay with no's.
Oh, I'm okay with no.
Well, I think when people, or my experience, what I experience many times is when you say no, they take it as you're saying something against them. They get defensive, and you go, no, I'm just saying no. And it is nothing personal. I do think that the saying no is not a common thing.
It's not. I mean, it is what it is, and people need to start saying it. But business is transactional, and so are relationships. Mr. Toussaint, I appreciate that, but relationships are transactional, right? If you treat me well, I treat you well. I mean, that's a transaction, right?
So he says, how do you learn from an experience if you're trying to control it rather than experience
Not trying to control it. Not trying to control it. But there's just certain aspects of a life. Let me say this. Everybody are adults. We all know what works and doesn't work. We know what we want and don't work. We know how to respect someone, right? If you start doing things that I don't like, and I share that with you on the first time, you know what, I really don't like that, and you keep doing it, in other words, you're saying F me. I'm going to do what I want to do. Okay, well, there you have it. It is what it is. You should want both parties should want, especially if it's something that's not going to be detrimental in your life. Showing up on time should not be an issue, right? Or doing what you say you're going to do should not be an issue where you feel like someone is trying to control you. That's a problem in itself.
If you're feeling controlled just from being punctual, if it makes sense. So
if you don't want to try to meld with someone, if you don't see that they can enhance your life in some way, if you feel that way, you should want to be your best self for them, and they should want to be their best self for you.
I agree with that. I think sometimes when you said it, I'm like, but then I can think of instances where that's so true, where I think I've heard men say that she decided to leave, but usually there's so many times that she said, and it almost comes off as nagging to them, that she has said this over and over and over again, but not accepting their boundaries or things like that. And then when she gets to that point of being fed up, you're like, what happened? Because we haven't set the boundaries the first time. If we didn't allow it the next time and the next time and the next time, then so that makes sense to me. Hi, James. Thank you for joining. You guys are listening to He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com. And I am talking to certified sexologist Sean Wilson, who is part of the He Said, She Said family. I'm making a family. We claim her. She's also an admin of the He Said, She Said group on Facebook. And she's just so knowledgeable on this subject. I love having her on. And back by popular demand, because like I said, I already had her scheduled to come on tomorrow, but it was so funny. I'm out stepping, and as I'm out dancing, people were asking about that particular show and what happened on that show. And it just so happens that I'm very happy to have her back again today. And so it was already scheduled, and it turned out. So hello, James. You said don't be... My glasses fell on the floor. So as Sean reads your comment and refers to it, I'm going to go down to the floor to get my glasses. I'll see you guys in a bit. Go ahead, Sean.
James says, don't be honest with me, but do tell me the truth. Jay, I can't stand James. He always has something. Don't be honest, just tell me the truth. Right?
That is funny. So Tu said, and these comments for the He Said, She Said, they're coming from my Facebook page. So feel free, if you'd like to comment, you can go to the Wanda Be Like a Bumblebee Facebook page and join in the comments there. Or you can always call in if you like, 708-223-8953. And I'm talking to Sean Wilson, and we're talking about sex. Okay, I did the shush. That's I'm going to work on my uncomfortability with discussing sex as if it's a naughty word, I'm conditioned to do it. We're working on that though. I'm working on it. I don't know if you're working on it. You may be comfortable with it. And Sean's making me comfortable. The more I talk about it, I guess the more comfortable I'll get. So Tucson says, I agree relationships are, but I also believe that is problematic. Love is not transactional, it's spiritual. Now, if we're separating the two as different experiences, I agree 100%.
Cal, let me say this. See, that love is not transactional. You're absolutely right. And I can love you from a distance, Tucson. I do not have to stay in an unhealthy relationship because I love you. I can love you from a distance. We can move out of intimate relationship and just be friends, but I don't need to have, that is not loving myself to keep myself in a relationship with someone that is, and I'm not going to say disrespectful, but unwilling to view me as valuable in their life.
So James said a relationship needs standards, and Tu is saying to James, I treat you well because that's how I want to treat you without any expectations is what love looks like.
Okay, so treat me well. And treating me well is making sure that I am well. And so why would you want to frustrate me?
And
You know what I love about him? He can always play the devil's advocate. I love that though. I love it. And it goes both ways. There are things the same way, men don't want to have to hear the same thing over and over again and feel like, they're being controlled and things like that. Right. It goes both ways. I'm not just talking about a man to woman, situation. That goes both ways. If a man is saying these are the things, and that's why it's important to have these conversations on the front end, right? You have to know if you are compatible.
And
right?
it's okay to not be compatible. I mean, there's somebody out there for everyone. We just don't have to try to force things to work. Some things are not meant, they're not meant for you. There's somebody meant for you. It may not be that person, and that's okay. It's totally okay.
So get to know people first, and then you're not that heartbroken when it ends, because you're getting to know people. And that's why I would say don't take yourself off the market until, if you want to be married or you want to be in a committed relationship, don't take yourself off the market until that actually happens.
So Nicole just came in the comment in the section. She said, I'm confused with what we even talking about. So what we're talking about today, Nicole, is that we started on one and then we're kind of responding back to comments. So it was taking us to where you'd have to kind of go flow through the comments on Facebook to go. But where we're going to go with I know you saw that I posted was about being affable. And I'm saying affable to be politically correct for our Facebook and for dear Intellectual Radio, because I can't swear here. The being affable, and part of that, what we've been referring to and how the conversation started was
confidence,
being sensual. Which is not the same as sexuality, as I'm learning today with certified sexologist Sean Wilson of the bedroomblueprint.com. As we're talking, I'm learning. I'm always learning. So being sensual adds to you being confident, or vice versa.
Right. So you want to be sensually confident, right?
Sensually confident.
You are totally into yourself. You know what it is that makes you happy. You show up that way. It's how people feel when they are around you, right? It is, how do you enjoy the experiences that you give to yourself?
You show up in a way. Say that again if you remember what you just said. You show up in a way because
people feel good around you, right? You want people to, when people are around, I'm easygoing with people. So it's easy for people to talk to me. I don't judge people. I think people are who they are. I'm okay with that. You can share whatever you want to share with me. You don't have to worry about me sharing your business with someone else. You feel safe with me because I do not, that's just who I am. Right. And so, you want to make sure that your home represents what you really want. We have these ideas in our head of what we want our life to look like, instead of focusing on what our life is right now.
And we're not showing up the way this vision
exactly
to be. We're not actually that person, but we have this idealistic view of how we want things, but we haven't really done the homework within ourselves, within our surroundings, being in our own present moment to be in what we actually see, where we see ourselves at. So, we're talking to Sean about all things sex. And Tucson says, I tend to believe sex, the actual act, picks your partner better than your brain. Good, bad, or indifferent. I believe that's what the universe is saying you need in that moment. Maybe that need hurts, but it's what you need to grow.
What?
You want me to read it again? You said what? But so it's a difference in need in the moment. It's like I need a sandwich if you're hungry and you're fulfilling a need. So we're talking about the basic sex act. Then I can agree with that could be what you need in the moment. But I think you have to be clear that if you're looking for something different from that person, that you're clear that act doesn't equate to you getting what a relationship from that person. And I think for two people, one person could be, and I just need this in the moment, and it's just the act, and the other person could be, I want a relationship with this person. And I think that may be where, Sean, you can chime in if I'm reading what he's saying correctly, and I'm going to read it again for our listeners.
You know what? It would be interesting if anyone would chime in to say, how often does casual relationships last? How long do they actually last, right? And usually one person, you know, it doesn't stay in that space. They usually revert back to just being friends if they were there, because someone's feelings will grow.
So to read that again, that what Sean is referring to is someone on Facebook said, I tend to believe sex, the actual act, picks your partner better than your brain. Picks your partner in the moment, good, bad, or indifferent. I believe that. He didn't say that part. That was me chiming in the moment. Picks your partner better than your brain, good, bad, or indifferent. I believe that's what the universe is saying you need in that moment. Maybe that need hurts, but it's what you need to grow. The sex act isn't confused by sexual norms.
The sex act isn't confused by,
but the brain is.
What are sexual norms? The casualness of it? Is that what you're saying? So are you trying to justify casual sex? Is that what we're doing?
I agree with I don't know if our physical always matches up to what we actually need. I don't know if I agree with that, because I may think I need a drug. Some people use sex like they as a drug. It can mask.
Doesn't mean you need to go out and hit the line, huh? Just because.
Right. I mean, I do think, and they feel they need it in the moment. I'm hurting, so in the moment I need to get high, or I may need to have sex. So I don't know. I'm thinking about that. I mean, that makes sense. So Nicole,
ask a question. Is it that they need to have sex, or they need to have some type of connection with someone?
And that's where I'm saying where I feel like it can be masked. I mean, we think that's what we need, but it's a numbing effect to not deal with some other issue. We actually need something else, but in the moment, it feels good to do this and not deal with what I really need. I do think sometimes it could be used as a Band-Aid to not deal with something else. So, but Nicole says, I agree. People are just in denial about who they are. They are picking partners that truly mirror their true selves in the moment. Yes, that I do believe that happens.
Here's the thing. We are really talking about people. I promote healthy, happy, monogamous, exclusive relationships. That's just who I am. I'm a traditionalist. Hey, fight me on it. I'm okay with it. I am who I am. I believe what I believe. If that is what you want, you have to be careful on the choices that you make. Because if you make bad choices and get into casual relationships because of a desire of lust, hey, you get what you get. And that is how people are hurt and depressed and lonely and empty. And they're feeling all of these feelings because they are trying to get something deeper from a sex act. Right?
Unfortunately.
That's not what you want. That's just not what you want. And I don't believe that people really want all of this casual sex. I talk to way too many people. When I get you one-on-one, that is not what they want.
So to tell them what you do, besides when you say you talk to people one-on-one, what do you do, Sean, to talk to them?
I do coaching. I'm a coach. I do coaching. And what I do is I talk to women, and like, my last client just this morning, here she is, married, children, becoming roommates with her partner. And I'm like, are you going to leave? Do you want to leave? Well, no. So if you're not going to leave, but you're talking to all your friends and they're telling you, leave him, and he don't do that, and my man does this, and you're hearing all of this outside noise and chatter, you're starting to confuse yourself with, do you want to step out? But that's not even who you are. That isn't even who she was. She wants her marriage. She loves her husband. She wants it to work. My job is to help you figure out, what are the likes and dislikes? What do you want more of and less of in that relationship? What do you want more of and less of for yourself? Let's get you together, figure out really what you want, get you on point with you, and then let's bring someone else in. And by the end of the session, she had listed all these great things about her husband that she hadn't even really thought about in months. You know what I'm saying? And so we think we want one thing when we really don't. Be clear on what it is that you want. If you want commitment, work on commitment. If someone is telling you that they don't want commitment and you do want commitment, that is not the person you should, let's just hang out until I find someone, because you liked that person in hopes of a committed relationship, right? But now you're going to settle because they said, well, I don't want to do that. And you said, okay, well, I'm just going to go along with this until. No, there is no until, because now you're going to get caught up. I don't believe in putting yourself in trick bags. I just don't. Be clear on what it is that you want. Man and woman, be clear.
I agree with that. So Two says, maybe no relationship is meant to last. As you grow, what used to connect, you won't anymore.
Hey, there's always possibilities. And that is why you should get to know someone before you start heading down that road, right? You should think about, hey, what are your plans for your non-working years? Right? What do you see yourself doing when you retire, right? Somebody may say, you know what, I just want to go and sit on the dock of the bay. I just want to go fishing and everything. You be like, whoa, that's not my plan.
So Two says, see, that's where I disagree. I think the sex act is as deep as it gets, but I think we devalue the sex act and overemphasize all the social behaviors that we think provides value. So as a parent, are you saying that sex is more important than how you raise your children? Like all the other things that are involved in a relationship, sex is the deepest thing? Is as deep as it gets?
It is the deepest thing when you care, love, and nurture and for someone. Yes, it is deep. Absolutely is deep. But it's not deep on no casual level. That's why it's casual. Because I don't have any deep feelings for you if it's casual. Why would you treat someone casually if you have deep feelings for them? So sex ain't that deep, dear. It's an act. It's just an act. It's something that you do. That's all sex is.
You're tuned in to He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com, and we're talking about sex in its entirety, whether sex and dating, sex in your relationship. We're talking about whether you are effable. And Sean has answered that question for us. How do you get to that point of being effable? And we are probably going to go into that one once again within the next hour as we go into the second half of the show, because I really want to get that down. But I want to talk about intimacy, because this has come up a lot as we've been doing this show, intimacy and what is intimacy. And you have a line that women want, and I don't want to mess it up. Do you know what I'm referring to, Sean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So women are more on the intimate level. Men are more on just the sex act. That is why Toussaint can say, sex is so deep. And and if that's how they feel about it, that's fine. Intimacy is that place where you feel safe, where you feel secure. And there's different levels of intimacy, right? You have intellectual intimacy. How do you share your ideas, your thoughts with someone where you don't feel judged about it? You have your emotional intimacies, right? If I can really share with you how I feel and how you feel, and we take that in and respect it and and support you on that level, right? That's an intimacy, right? You have sexual intimacy, right? Things that you do before, during, and after sex. That's sexual intimacy, right? And so you have experiential intimacy, right? How do you share experiences that you have? If I say, hey, I went to Brazil, how do you talk about that? What the expression is around it, right? So all of that is intimacy when you can really just share how you feel and feel safe and supported with it. And everyone wants to feel safe.
Men too? Men?
Especially men. Men, and here's the thing, and I'm going to do the man's, I'm going to be on the man's side on this one. Men are more likely to make you feel safe than women, because a man can share something with a woman, and I've seen this time and time again, and I've done it in my younger years, where you get into an argument and you throw something that they shared with you on a deep level, and you throw that back in their face. That shuts a man down real fast, because now they no longer feel safe with you. Right? If I cannot share with you something that's deep for me, and then you turn around and make me feel bad about it in the heat of an argument, men don't do that as readily as women do.
They don't?
No, they don't. Mm-mm. So they do other things, right? Like go outside the house, go outside the relationship, things like that. They exit. Mentally, they exit, right? Emotionally, they exit. They just make an exit. Even though physically they're still there with you, but they make an exit.
So women then can do some of the very things they want intimacy, but maybe doing the things that don't create intimacy within their homes or within their sexual relationships. Would you say that, or what would you say to that?
Repeat that question.
So I'm saying that if you're doing those things, throwing things back at a man, and you want intimacy in your relationship, some of the very things you may be doing will cause you not to have intimacy in your home.
Absolutely. Because intimacy has nothing to do with sex. And that's where people get confused. When you ask people, remember on the show, when you ask people about their first intimate experience, they tell you about their first sexual experience. Intimacy has nothing to do with sex. Intimacy is really about your mother was your first intimate experience, right? She held you, she nurtured you, she cared for you, or whoever that person was who did that is in your youth, in your childhood, right? That made you feel safe and secure. That's intimacy. Those are the things you remember.
So do we even really recognize what intimacy looks or feels like? Like you say, well, we did this on another show Shauna and I were on, and we were asking people to tell their first intimate experience, and they all went to the first time they had their first sexual experience. And so that absolutely happens. And that led me to ask you, I don't even know if I know then what being intimate is, because I would respond probably I may not respond with sex, but I may not also be able to even answer when that first intimate experience was, because I didn't know where we were going with that, because I think sexual with intimacy. So wanting to break that down so we can learn, especially if women want intimacy, to know more about ourselves, learn ourselves better, so we can get maybe the love we desire, the sex we desire. So,
but it's not just women, men too. That goes both ways. Men too want to feel safe and secure, right? And so if we are sharing our experiences with each other, we are not expecting you to use that against me, right? When you look at abused people, that's why I always say, like I had a client who was going through a lot of domestic abuse, and I kept saying, and she had a new guy, and I kept saying, how often do you talk to this new guy about your past experiences? Don't do that, right? And so now your past experiences, don't do that. Right? And so now you keep talking about how horrible this guy was. And then what happens? Then he starts to hit on you. Right? You opened up that space. Right? He used it against you, that control against you. And so it's important, who do you share yourself with? Getting to know people. That's why I say take your time, everyone. If you are trying to really get with someone and then you're going to be married to them, you're going to be married for a long time. So take some time, slow it up, and take some time to really get to know people, know who they are, know their values, right? Know their beliefs, know who they are at the core. Talk, become intimate friends with someone first.
So, two says men absolutely desire vulnerability. And if he isn't able to be vulnerable with you as his woman, he won't ever value how you desire. He won't value the way you desire if he.
That's true. That's true. And I see it time and time again. Men are very open. I talk to a lot of men one-on-one. When you get them in a pack, it's a wrap. You're not going to get any good conversations. Because ego and bravado pops in. But when I talk to men one-on-one, and actually the majority of my coaching sessions are with men, they're very open and they're very clear on what it is that they want. Very clear. There is no mistaken, about, they are clear on what their desires are. They're clear why they don't respect certain, aspects of women. It is what it is.
It seems when you mention it that way, they're less forgiving of going outside of their boundaries early on. Women may go, like you said, become nagging about, but they really set a standard to their boundaries more. I've noticed that they create them and women don't question it.
But they also set, they set you up for failure. Don't let people set you up for failure. And I'm not going to say man or woman because it can happen
either way.
Everything that I say, it's not a man.
It's interchangeable between men and women. We all do these things. And so I agree. Thank you so much for saying that. I don't want this to be a men do this and women do this, because we all do it on some level. It may look and appear different when we do it, but we all do these same things just differently. And so, yes, I absolutely want to say that, because I don't want this to be the man versus woman conversation, because that's not the point of this. Is to create this division. It's more from a healing that how you fit into what is should or should not, or is whether you're a man or a woman, this advice is the same. So let's do that. Thank you for pointing that out.
So it's just important that, understanding what it is that you want. And that's why I keep going back to, no one really wants casual. You do go into it, but you do get set up for failure when you are not intentional with the person that you're having a sexual relationship with. Sex is big. And even though we have made it so casual, we wouldn't have so many conversations around sex and cheating.
Explain that.
The majority of our conversations, if you go in any type of relationship thing, it's always around helping me take down. There you go, Nicole, right?
So what Nicole said is helping me take down my braids while watching a movie is intimate to me.
Yes.
And so I think when we talk about really becoming intimate, it's really getting to know ourselves and taking away that sex act, like you say, and I'm going to have to do what's intimate to me exercise, because I'm glad that you know that about yourself, Nicole. That's a sweet thing. So how do we relay those messages to our partners?
Being yourself.
Say that again.
Being yourself. Nicole saying, look, come help me take down my braids. Some women wouldn't even feel comfortable doing that. right? Nicole
That's
said, I
true.
don't know who I am. Help me take these braids down. And as a matter of fact, come wash my hair. Right? Help me. Right? Watch this movie while you help me do this. And then afterwards, I'm going to give you a treat. Right?
And that's how you get to being affable, as we said, we've been talking about. So two says that we talk about casual sex. He's saying if you aren't intimate, even if y'all together for 50 years, it's still casual.
Yeah, you can look at it like that. Absolutely.
So,
you can look at it like that.
and so as we talk about being intimate, and so what I'm taking, gathering from what you're saying, Sean, is it, well, what you said basically is sex isn't intimacy for women. Now, are you saying sex is intimacy for men?
No, I'm saying what we want more of.
More of.
I'm not saying that it's not, and I'm not saying men do not want intimacy. Men look at sex. Look, when you talk to men about, just say, cheating, what do they always say? It didn't mean anything. It was just sex. Because men just want sex, right? Why do men get more upset when a woman cheats? Because they know it's a deeper connection when a woman steps outside. Most part. That is changing now. That is changing because society, as I think Toussaint said, is about the social norms, right? Society has now made this sex thing just something to do, right? And they've promoted it so well that women's like, okay, then this is what we doing. This is what we're doing, right? But so there was a time that men just wanted sex. Look, it just is what it is. You're not giving it to me. Let me go and get it, whatever. And even if you were, hey, I just wanted something different. Women, on the other hand, are not that quick. We're not that quick to just step outside of the relationship until someone feel that space of intimacy that they felt that they can talk to, they can share their lives with, they can, right? It was a deeper connection for them.
I definitely agree or with you
Right.
on
But
that.
now things have changed a little bit where now everybody is just free falling and, you know, doing what they want to do. But you, that's why I said we got to get back to some clarity of what it is that you want. How do you really want your life to look? Do you want to spend the next 10, 20 years just meeting people, having sex and saying, hey, it is what it is? Or do you want to find someone, right, that you actually share experiences with? A true connection with someone.
So you're listening to He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com. We're talking about the topic of sex. We're talking about how it relates in dating, how it relates to relationships. We're talking about what is intimacy. And then the big topic for the day is, are you effable? And how do you know if you are? It sounds like part of that is a feeling within yourself, how you present yourself. If you feel good, then you're probably going to present yourself in a way that
know who you are.
So I had someone ask me earlier today, in fact, I wrote it down because I told her the topic, and she told me that she was tired of being abstinent. So there is a lot of women who are going through, because there's a difference of celibate and abstinence, right? What is
yes?
Celibacy is is it the difference you made an oath? I should look that up. But she at first told me she was celibate, and I do believe it's more that she's abstinent.
Right.
And she's saying she's tired of being abstinent. And do I remember this correctly? So you can correct me if I'm wrong, that sometimes you could not be presenting yourself as effable if you're in the state of abstinence. Correct me. I know that needs correction.
Well, here's the thing. Especially for When we take ourselves off the market, we take ourselves off the market, right? You're not going out, you're not going anywhere, you're not meeting anyone. So how are you going to get out of the abstinence stages if you're not out meeting people, right? How does that work? Right. And so we have a tendency to close off. We stay at home, we, watching TV, and we're lonely and we're doing these things. So you're not putting yourself out there to meet someone. So start dating. Don't meet someone and claim them. Just start dating. Right? What Tucson got to say? So we
So Tu is saying, when we're talking about, I think you said that men cheat, it was just sex, or they'll say it was just sex. That no, that's not true. We say that because we aren't honest. We lie because honesty isn't acceptable. The honest answer is probably attached to him being vulnerable or seen as weak, and we won't stand in front of that. We don't cheat because it's just sex.
But that's what you have said, right? And this is what I mean by, see, now we're getting some honesty, and that's why I like these conversations. So I thank you for that, Tucson, for saying that, right? So it is deeper for them too. Maybe they're not feeling loved and appreciated themselves, but they won't say that. So they just say, hey. But the problem with that statement, and I don't want to get into this cheating kind of conversation because I want it to be on the positive side of things, but the problem with that statement is now you run the risk of your partner not looking at you as the strong head of the house that you should be, right? And that's a whole nother conversation. So I don't want to really get into that, but that's the risk that you run there, okay, for saying that. But listen, at the end of the day, I just want people to be happy with each other. Right? Respect each other, care for each other, stop going into relationships with a let's just see what happens, because it's a choice, right? It's a decision that you make that you want to be with me or whomever you decide you want to be with. But if you're making that decision to be with that person, be all in. Why not just be all in? Right? We don't like to just see what's happening. Men don't see what's happening on nothing else but relationships.
Say that again.
Men are great at making decisions.
Okay.
They make decisions. Look, I need a car. Let me go and get this car. Yeah, I want to get that car. That's the car I'm getting. They get that car, right? Yeah, I'm going to look at they make decisions very well. But when it comes to relationships, you just want to see what happens. Well, I'm just seeing what happens. Just see what happens. What do you want to happen?
But I don't, that's not something they often say. Why is that? I mean, they're very, like you say, they make decisions on other things so quickly when they want something. And men and women may do this as well. So please know, I want to say this again. This goes with both sexes. It's more easily for me to talk about a man because I don't date women. So that I know the experience from the other end. So guys, you can chime in from the other end. They do tend to make decisions on other things, but when they get in the dating situation, women will tell me that they hear often, well, let's just see what happens. I don't know now. You asking too soon. Let's just see what plays out. But they'll have sex, but they may but still say, let's see where the rest of this plays out.
And so whose problem is that?
I don't know. I'm asking you, Sean.
That's the woman's problem. Because if you just want to see what happens, we ain't gotta have sex. Let's just see what happens and see, if you get to a place where you want to have more. Right? So we take our options off the table when we buy into that. They know what they're doing. It's a smart move and it works. Right now, I'll see what happens. And now you're trying to sell yourself on me. Right?
You say now you're trying to show them your worth so they can choose you.
So I'll be like, okay, well, fine. Let's just see what happens. We both trying to see what happens. Right?
So That is funny. So and so true. So we're talking about sex and all things sex, and we're definitely open if you have any questions you want to ask. Certified sexologist Sean Wilson, who's here of the Bedroom Blueprint, and go to her website, thebedroomblueprint.com, and check it out. Get her newsletter. I would love for you to sign up for the newsletter that she has, and then also we're going to be having a toy party that he says she said with Wanda B toy party will be coming up May the 14th, and some more healing for relationships. We like to heal relationships. We're going to put it all together. A total
Yeah.
healing session of relationships. And so we love for you to join that as well. Get the newsletter. More information will be on her website. So go to and then you can register. We'll have the link in the comments here, so how you can register for the party. And so it's going to be a fun time. And go to the bedroomblueprint.com, sign up for the newsletter. So as we're talking about sex, and then Tucson says, because we can't control outcomes. Let's find where he said this as I read it. And we can't control outcomes of human behavior. We can control what we get or don't get out of a car, and our essence is determined that by the woman we chose. Or and sometimes I think that's why men sometimes have some men may have an issue deciding on one woman, because you never know. It's not as easy as buying a car, right? I mean, when you buy a
Yes,
car,
it
you
is.
can say, I want a sunroof. I know I want a moon roof. I know I want this. I know. And you get exactly that, and it doesn't change. It's just when you buy that
But
car,
it does
go
change.
ahead.
Cars do change.
They break down. What else changes about a car? If you bought a Cadillac, you got a Cadillac.
Listen,
What else
listen,
changes?
guys. At the end of the day, if you know what you want, you can make a decision. So the fact that you don't know what you want in a relationship is a problem, both man and woman, right? That's just a problem.
That makes
And you
sense.
have to understand that things do change over time,
Just like
right?
cars, they can break down. They may need
But,
repairs,
but,
whatever.
but here's the thing to that. So Toussaint said early on, right? Love isn't transactional. Okay, so fine then. If that is the case, Mr. Toussaint, you're just proving the point. Make a decision, be all in, love the person unconditionally. Period. If that's the space that you're in. If that is not the space that you're in, do not get into a committed relationship. And people have to believe when people say, I don't want that right now. You just do. You have to believe it. When people tell you, believe them. But if you really do want to be in a relationship with someone, be honest, be open, love it, love the experience. Isn't that what you said? Right? Enjoy the experience, good and bad. Enjoy it all and talk about it. Right? That's where the intimacy comes in, because now we can share our experiences of emotional intimacy on how did that make you feel when that happened. Right? You can talk about your ideas and goals and dreams with each other. You can have great sexual intimacy, right? Talk about what we're going to do before, during, and after the act, right? All of that plays a part in that relationship. So learn all of those things about each other before you start having that act, right? See if you're truly compatible. And then you can make a decision and go from let's see what's going to happen to let's make this happen. I want you all to be on the side of let's make this happen. We got this, right? We in it to win it. And that's what I want from people.
I love that. I love that. I want the same thing for people. If we're in it, be in it. Work towards that, and
Yeah.
make that commitment to be in it versus always trying to look for the out. Because that is always so simple. So I like that. And thank you. And Sean can help you with that. Like she mentioned, she does coaching. You can go to thebedroomblueprint.com. You can get the newsletter. You can contact Sean there if you like. You can contact her on Facebook if you like. She's on all social media platforms. So however you want to contact her, but the Bedroom Blueprint is the best place to get a hold of her if you need help in that area of making making the relationship better. And that is what we, if you need to, it may be going well and you just need to learn how to spice it up. And we're not saying there are not all these there are some relationships, and there's some that may just need a little spice, that
That's right.
it is gotten stale and we need to make it spicy. So some
That's
of this is how to get spicy. So let's talk about that too. And I'll go into what Toussaint is saying here. What did this person say? It says face. I can't see that with my
He says
eyesight, so I'm going to ask you to
relationships
help me with that Facebook user. What did they say?
require maintenance, just like a vehicle, to keep it running for years. Absolutely.
And that's
And
what
you.
go ahead. That's kind of where we're going with this as we talk about relationships. Besides dating, we kind of touched on that, dating, but also if you're in a relationship, that component of keeping things alive, not letting things get stale, bringing a freshness to your relationship, staying affable no matter how long you've been in the relationship. I know some people who think I don't have to, I have him, I'm married, or I have her, and it doesn't matter. And I do think that truly matters. And I'll let the certified sexologist say yay or nay to that, or her opinion of that. So, but what Tu says is all transactions have conditions. And if I'm being honest, women are insatiable. So there are greater consequences to us not meeting the need of that kind of appetite. Okay. And then Nicole says, I tell people all the time that true friends make the best lovers. And I think that's so true.
Yeah.
What do you say to that, Sean?
Yeah, because you know them. You know them. Right?
You can be comfortable getting your hair, letting your hair down, having them unbraid your hair, and seeing you in your natural state, because we're friends at the core. I totally agree with that. I do feel like I'm somebody who was divorced, and one thing I do know is I don't know if we ever created a true friendship. We're absolutely married a long time, but could I say that we ever got to the point of pure vulnerability for both of us? I can speak for him. He has never said this, but I'm just going to go based on the end result of our relationship that probably was true, that we never got to that point of really being intimate. I don't know if we ever had any true intimacy in a relationship with 4 children, that we never actually were that intimate. And I mean, I can say that because now that I have a more feeling of what intimacy is, I don't think we were ever that intimate, even though we have 4 children. So Tu says staying affable definitely matters. Go ahead, say that.
That's pretty common. I always say, when you're in relationships with someone, it is really important to know their inner workings. What makes them happy, what makes them sad. It's just really important. And sex plays a big part of that too. I say, look, if you're not having sex at least 3 times a week in a relationship, that's a problem.
Now, that's not happening in a majority of relationships. Certified sexologist. I don't think it is. At least the married ones. I will let you all chime in, or maybe it does more when you're single. But I don't know if that's happening in married relationships. Not 3 times a week. For real.
It doesn't have to be all night longer. It can be quickies throughout the day. It can be when you wake up in the morning. Look, didn't you all get together because the sex was good for most part, right? Weren't you having sex a lot when you first met? Why would that stop?
Why does it stop? You tell me. Help. Why does that happen in relationships? Why does it?
Because people get caught up in this now. This is a man-woman thing, but for the most part, there's always exceptions. I always say men marry you based on who you are, and women marry based on the future plans, right? And so now you get married, you start having children, you have your house together, you're doing all of these things, and the woman goes into caregiving, right? a home baker, right? You're cleaning the house, you're taking care of the kids, you're going to work, you're cooking, you're doing all of these things, right? And then you have the guy saying, okay, where's the fun girl?
Where's the fun girl I married? She's no longer fun. She tells me to take out the garbage and what I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. I don't want to have sex with either.
Wait a minute. Or on the flip side, I'll give it back to the men.
The flip side.
Or you get men that become very entrepreneurial, right? And they're working their hustle and they're just busy. And that part of the relationship starts to suffer, right? Because they're too tired or things like that, right? Or illnesses come in, right? High blood pressure, diabetes, medication, all the stress, all of these things start to work on your libido. Well, what's the best way to increase libido if it's not medically an issue? Is to have more sex. The more orgasms you have, the more you want to have.
The more orgasms you have, the more you'll want to have. Now, I do know. I know that's clinical. That's not a made up thing that the certified sexologist came up with. That is a clinical fact, and I've had my OB-GYN, Dr. Thomas, tell me that years ago when I don't even know, just life. This is when the first marriage that came up with not having that desire, and he told me if you don't use it, you'll lose it. That if you don't continue to have it, you won't want to have. You'll stop just thinking about it. It'll go away. So basically, and I know I've mentioned this on other shows, that he basically told me at the time to help me get it back was to, even if I had to make a date to do it every Thursday or every Wednesday, I needed to do that so I could build it back up. And so I'm not sure for men, because I'm not a man. I'm just telling you what my own OB-GYN, and I'm just co-signing what our certified sexologist said. Is because I've been told that by a doctor before. So I do know that's true. So, but I want to really get into, because I do believe there are people in committed relationships that are not doing it as frequently as you say. So I want you to give us some tips. I want to hear some tips to get that spice back into those relationships. And then we're going to go into our single people.
Called foreplay. I always say you need to really master outer course before inner course. So foreplay is important, right? Foreplay is, like I have these deck of cards that have like sex positions on them. And you can like take a picture of one and send it to your partner. Like, yeah, how would you like to try this tonight? Right? Get some juices flowing. Right?
Now, does that work for women or that's for men? Like, does the same foreplay that a man and a woman, is it the same? Does it look the same? Feel the same?
No, because I think you should know what your partner likes, right? And so if, like, I'm a touch person, I love physical attention, right? And so kisses, pats on the ass, things like that turns me on. So if you're walking out the door, and you do some touching on me, and say, yeah, tonight, I'll get back with you tonight. I'm good. I'm like, yes, right. Throughout the day, you're like, yeah, what we doing? What you want to do tonight? Right. So you got some foreplay, some teasing going on that's leading up to that. Know what your partner likes, whatever that may be. And I always say in relationships, especially if you're in the home together, because women are so like one of the partners are more domestic than the other. Sometimes it could be the man, right? That is just more domestic than not. Help out. Like, if you want it, make sure you have time for it. And so if that means that every Thursday night we cleaning up this bad boy so we can have this weekend for us to have some fun, I think that's what you need to do. Help out a little bit. But I always say never use sex as a reward or a punishment.
Oh, that's done so often in relationships as well, right?
Yes.
The reward or
Yes.
the birthday presents. They have it once a year on the birthday. And he goes, "That's my birthday present. That's what I'm getting."
Or that's the only time you give some head is on a special occasion. Like that's not cool.
And I would like to think that doesn't happen, but that happens, right? That does happen.
It does happen. It does happen.
So how do you so let's go back to, because I do think it may all tie into each other and I hadn't thought of it at the time, but being affable plays into that as well. I mean, when you think about why you may not be having it, why that can all tie in together. So I see that.
Well, listen, if you're not having orgasms, right? And you're starting to drive, you start to look the part.
you start to look dried up. You saying what you say, Sean? Say that again. What?
And I don't know if it's just me because this is the field that I'm in, but you can almost tell when people are not having sex.
They never look hydrated.
their attitudes.
Oh, I think you can, right?
Yeah, they just start to give up a little bit, So, you get to see this real time. If I'm looking around, I can kind of tell if you.
If you can tell somebody, like, you look at it and go, I bet you there are some people that walk around with a consistent crankiness that you kind of do think like, they must not be like, when people get hungry and angry, they look hangry. There must be a term for sex. The angriness walk around without. I'm gonna come up with one myself. I know there's hangry for when you're hungry and you get angry. There's one for sexless and angry. We're gonna make a term for that. We're gonna
find a word for it.
And we're gonna coin the whole phrase and get it on a t-shirt and everything. And like they make hangry, we're gonna come up with our own. So Nicole says, if you know your man, you can send a picture of a turkey sandwich and he'll know what that means. And Two said, "What's a turkey sandwich?" Nicole, share. Like, well, you just saying. Go ahead.
Whatever it is, you may have this inner joke, right, with your partner, right, of what something might mean, and you send them that. They know what it means.
That's true. Right? Okay, if it's his turkey sandwich, and for her is this.
The bottom line is, it's time to have some fun with your partners. Have some sexual fun with your partners. Play some games, honey. Do that. Try some new stuff.
Can you introduce that to a relationship that hasn't had it? Like, what if he does start introducing something, and then the next thing you know, she's like, "Where you get that from? Who you learn that from?"
You have to talk about it first.
Okay, you can't just whip off the new stuff.
Oh no.
You can't get the toy from the he said, she said toy party May 14th and just bring the stuff home and start using it on them.
So this is what I always tell people that come to a toy party. If you're in a relationship, send the digital, because I always send out a digital catalog for people to look at. Send the digital catalog to your partner and say, look, I'm going to this party tonight. What do you think we should get? They will send you back some stuff. The women always come with a list of things that their partners want.
Women that the men have picked out?
Yes.
Really? Okay, we're going to try and see if this happens. I'm going to put that to the test.
Remember the question that I asked yesterday?
Ask it again, please.
In the
ask it for the people who weren't in the he said, she said group. Tell them what the question was.
The question was to all of the men, if your woman asked you to use a toy on her during sex, what would you do? All of them were like, bring the toy.
Really? That was the consensus. Most of the men said that.
Probably only 2 out of, we got to go to the page and look at it. I think we only had 2. But wait a minute. But the one person that said he would not said only because he thought she might like it more than he did. And I explained to him, there is nothing that can take the place of a partner in bed with you.
I think some men believe that, though, that, she's using that toy. And I've heard men say that they're using toys and they don't need men anymore.
Yes.
I hear that comment. So I'd love for you to speak to that, because that's a typical comment when it's brought up of women using toys, that some of these women are so numb now. They're using these toys and they say they don't need a man. Answer that
Oh,
for us.
we always, men don't ever think that a toy is ever going to replace you. That's never, honey, a toy can't touch us and rub us and warm on us. That ain't never going to change, right? And so we need you right there with us. But hey, a little extra stimulation, right? To bring a little extra fun to it. And it's also good just in case, like if you have a partner on the pleasure side, it's just pleasure, right? Have the most intense orgasm ever. But just say you have some issues going on. Maybe you're just tired and you want to give a good blowjob and you don't want to, you're just tired. Honey, we got something that does everything. Make the noise, suck, swallow, stroke, does everything. Hey, right?
But then they won't need us. Wait a minute.
Yes, they will, though. They will. I'm keep telling you all, stop devaluing yourselves like that. You got to trust in your ability. Honey.
Or you got to be nice enough that he won't. I mean, because that really goes to show more your personality. If they really would rather have that than you, that probably says more that he doesn't want to be bothered with you, period. It is not about the sexual thing. It's more your attitude makes them not want you around. I guess you just got to be honest with yourself.
It brings more excitement and joy and just something different, right? Look, I keep saying, look, I like me a good old steak, but I don't want to eat steak every day. At one point, I need to have a different meal. So we have to change it up from time to time, right?
I totally agree. So Nicole says, Sean hit it on the head. My ex would be turned on with the simple things like that, because we're talking about turkey sandwiches. And sending the picture of the turkey sandwich. And that because that meant that was what was on my mind. I was making his favorite snack. And I guess having those kind of things, have communication, have fun, have lightness in your relationships, that you can have these kind of things or create them. Maybe you don't. And maybe that goes to show where the being friends comes into it, where you can play these or do these things with them.
Look, we want to have fun. Look, you want to grow old with somebody you can have fun with, laugh with, right? Play with. Right? You want to. And here's the thing. When there comes a point where you can no longer have intercourse, that's why I said master outercourse, because, honey, you can have a mean orgasm without penetration now.
Mastering outercourse. That came up.
We got fingers, we got mouths, tongues, lips, we got everything, and we have toys. So there's a lot of things that can happen.
So...
And if you gave someone an erotic massage, right, and then finished them off with like our candy pop massager, oh, honey.
Okay. Put that on my list, Sean, for when we do the when we have our toy party. Put that on my list, May 14th. We're going to put some information in the comments about this, and you can join virtually. You don't have to physically come to the party. You can so we'll have all of that information, how to register. We'd like you to register though, just so we have an idea. So
at bedroomblueprintevents.com.
Say that part again for me.
The Bedroom Blueprint Events, one word, thebedroomblueprintevents.com, and register for the He Said, She Said toy party.
And we'll have that link in the comments. And I want to go back to, because I do believe you mentioned that we shouldn't be using sex as rewards and punishments, whether it's the guy who holds it back, or vice versa, or it's just the birthday. And now it is that this is something we should be doing with each other. Why is sex important in relationships, though? Why is it even important?
Connection. And that is why we're going to go kind of full circle back to why casualness doesn't work for any longevity. It is a connection that you have with someone. It brings you closer to them. It's another form of intimacy that you have with someone. And if you're going to be laying in the bed with someone on a regular basis, right? You want to have that connection. You want that sexual connection. And I just think it's important that when you do that, it's with someone that you care about, that you care for their well-being, that you do not want to see them hurt right? You want to see them happy and whole, right? They want to see you happy and whole. You all are working together to achieve a together happiness. You can't make me happy. I can't make you happy. But together, we can enhance each other's lives, right? That we're a solid partnership. And what goes on inside the bedroom and outside the bedroom matters.
Inside and outside matters.
Absolutely.
Okay, I like that too. You're tuned in to He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com. And we've been talking with Sean Wilson, who is a certified sexologist, and you can go to the bedroomblueprint.com and find out more about her. I'd love for you to get her newsletter, sign up for it so you can find out more of what the Bedroom Blueprint does. She can keep you abreast of all her events. She has virtual events all the time, and when the world opens back up, I'm sure she'll have more events. She had a game night. It's filled now because I was going to promote the game night, but this one is all filled, and I've had a game night with her. We've had fun. It's tons of fun. So I'm sure she'll have more, but you'll know about them if you get the newsletter, thebedroomblueprint.com. If you want to register for our He Said, She Said with Wanda B toy party, is going to be fun. Sign up, come out virtually, or whether you want to physically come out, you can do that too. We're going to, as the world is opening back up, we're going to have it actual where you can show up too. That's May 14th. Register at the Bedroom Blueprint Events.com, the Bedroom Blueprint Events.com. But I love you. Or if you like to use Sean as a coach and something she said here made you say, okay, I want to work on this with my relationships. This is something she does with couples, something she does with singles. If you feel it's something you need, you can contact her at thebedroomblueprint.com as well, or on social media. But she's there. So we've been talking about everything sex. So anyone, if you want to inbox with a comment, feel free, or a question, feel free. So feel free to do that. And if you want to, if you're brave enough, because we're going to get to the point. We've had Sean on. She's going to make me stop clutching my pearls when I say the F word. She's going to make me just feel so comfortable. As she always says it, so she can't say it here. But if you're somewhere else where we can't use the language so comfortably, and I'm not comfortable, I'm still clutching my pearls when I say it. But she's going to get me to that point where it's like nothing, because it's just what we do as people, right, Sean?
It's just what we do. I always say, you're either wanting to have sex, you are having sex, and if you are, you want it to be better.
Okay. Right? What are the three categories? You're either wanting to,
want to have it.
Okay.
You are having it.
You are having it.
You want it to be better.
Or you feel you want more of it, or it could be better when you're having it, and you're somewhere in there. Everybody's one of those at some point in time. So I like that. So we're talking, but in our goal, my goal, and I do believe, what's yours? Oh, I wish I don't remember right now. Your slogan for the Bedroom Blueprint. What is one of the
lifestyle to live by? Create a love style for you to live by. What is your love style? Because everyone's is different, right? We out here, we thinking everyone needs to be doing the same thing, and they don't. Everyone doesn't like the same things, right? You know, you have men that don't get into certain things. You have women that don't get into certain things. But whatever it is, we never want to yuck anyone's yum. Whatever it is that they like, it's what they like.
You don't want to yuck anyone's yum?
No.
I'm going to teach her line with just lines by Sean. You don't want to yuck anybody's yum. What does that mean, Sean?
Right, because people, like, one of the things that we do at the parties is that, because I talk about a wide variety of things, I always have people just tell me what they want to hear about or products that they want to see because they're interested in purchasing them, right? I never call anyone out. But I just cover a lot of topics. But I always say, do not yuck anyone's yum, because just say someone wants to talk about anal. Let's just say. I don't want anyone saying,
anal, you're not doing that.
Well, okay, if that's not what you do, that's fine. But this is what they want to do. And so you never want to yuck someone else's yum, because this is what they want to have a better experience with, right? The same way when we talk about that word freak. Well, some people might think giving oral is freaky. right? There was a time where that was so taboo. Now, hell, people talk
They're
about that.
singing about it. And you can hear about it in any rap song now on the radio.
Right? That's just a part of it,
Pickles or
right?
whatever they put in. Right.
Exactly. You watch TV and you got someone going down on the person. So now if that's not as taboo as it used to be, right? So, that's why I always say there's no such thing as the word freak, because whatever two people decide that they want to do with each other and they're okay with it, it's fair game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So don't yuck anybody's yum. What they may find yummy, you may not, but that's all right. Your yummy is something different. So
They might think that your little missionary position is yucky. Yeah.
You're like, don't do it. Okay, I'm for that. I'm loving everything you're saying today. Hopefully, like I said, if you have any questions that you want to pose, please do. Feel free to you can inbox either one of us, or you can post it there on Facebook or wherever you may be listening, and you can inbox us if you're listening on any of the other platforms that you can listen to Intellectual Radio, because Intellectual Radio can be heard viewed on YouTube. It can be heard on all the podcasting applications. So it's really cool that you can always access the show. So whether you missed it today, you can go back and listen to it. It lives on all those properties. So that's pretty cool. As we talk to Sean about sex, and I'm not going to put this up on the screen, what you said, because I don't know how Facebook feel about the word. I don't want them blocking me or nothing.
Oh, wow. So join us in the group. Join us over in the He Said, She Said group.
Yes, that I posted it there and nothing happened. I used the real word in the He Said, She Said group. It's a private group. So we have more candid conversations there. So make sure you join us there on He Said, She Said. And yes, Tu said she's in the group. In fact, Sean is an admin of the group. I mean, I won't say a silent partner because she's not really silent in the group, but probably just you never connected the face or who she is to being an admin of He Said, She Said. She's part of the He Said, She Said family too. So yes, Sean is in the group. She's actually an admin of He Said, She Said. So we're talking about all things sex, and the topic of casual sex has come up, whether we shouldn't. Oh, FFF, say it with us. I'm not gonna say it. I can't say it. I told you I still clutch my pearls, saying it as I can say it when I like stub my toe. I mean, I can say it in its other form as a adjective, no, as a exclamative when something happens, but to say it as if, we're going to be effable. That's not I'm working on it though. I think I'm getting better and better at it. Say it again, Sean.
It's a problem because you're thinking sex with it.
And I should be thinking what?
Sensuality.
Oh, okay. So, so this is a question I have then, Sean. So our sensuality doesn't have to stay in the bedroom.
Sensuality has nothing to do with the bedroom.
Oh, explain that.
Remember, sensuality is about yourself. Sensuality is about your home, your health, your wealth, how you are together, how you feel about yourself, your confidence. That's sensual, right? It's all about you, who you are, your happiness for you, what you do for yourself. How do you enjoy the meals that you eat? Do you really go out and look at the scenery and see the flowers? You know how they say, smell the roses. Are you doing that for yourself? Like when I eat, people laugh at me because I make noises when I eat. I like, I love the taste of the textures of food. I'm a foodie, right? So, it's what Nicole said about, right, it's all the senses, your senses. Right. But like Nicole said, look, take the braids out my hair. And she's who she is. She's comfortable with who she is. And she can say, yes, help me take these braids out, wash my hair, oil my scalp.
As Nicole says here, it's your essence.
It's your essence. It's who you are.
Can you create that for yourself?
Yes, you can. Absolutely, you can. And you start by, like, when you take a bath, do you really um, feel your body?
No, well, only if I'm trying to wash under my arms and
No,
like
no,
clean
no,
my
no,
hair.
no. I didn't say touch your body.
You said feel.
You can
No,
really feel your skin, right?
not
Have
intent
you
like for
do you
necessity, not
have
for pleasure. Is this talking as a pleasure or for the necessity of being
no,
clean? Okay.
no. When you massage
Explain.
your skin, when you get out the tub and you moisturize your body, do you really feel your skin? How soft it is, right? Do you feel different? If it's bumpy or ashy or dry, like, do you feel it? Don't you want it to be soft and supple, right?
Right?
Yes,
Yes.
you want to take your time with yourself. Like, I did this whole class on having a relationship with your vagina. Right?
Me and my girl, we've been together a long time, but I never thought of us having this relationship with each other.
Honey,
Usually
she needs
she's
to have a
looking for
name.
one somewhere else, not with
My
me.
girl's name is Roxy, honey.
Yours
So,
has a name.
yeah,
Your
absolutely.
girl is Roxy. Mine doesn't have a
Roxy,
name. After this many years, I've left her nameless. Oh my
honey.
goodness, we don't have a
Yeah.
relationship.
Roxy needs to let people know if they feeling them, and Roxy don't like you, dear.
Yours is Roxy. Mine is getting a name tonight. She is going to be named. She doesn't have a name. She's just my girl.
I have a whole talk on having a relationship with your vagina.
Having a
And
relationship with your
there's 5
vagina.
phases. There's 5 phases to a relationship with your vagina.
Okay, that's a whole nother show. Maybe we can do a private show with that one. Having a relationship with,
Absolutely.
you know what? That's what we'll do. We're gonna plan that. We're going to have a relationship with your vagina time. We're gonna we're going to do that. I'm gonna create a name for mine. She doesn't have a, she's just my girl. Me and my girl, we've been hanging out for the last X many years, but
Mhm.
we don't, I mean, sometimes she be on her own thing. I mean, over here and she's over there, but I need to have a more
Mhm, mhm. You
united
gotta take her,
relationship with
look,
her.
you have to take her shopping. You got to give her a spa day. You got to take care of her.
May 14th, we will be having a day where she's gonna have a name, and we will be finding things to take care of her at our toy party, which is
Yes.
not just toys. You have tons of
No.
things other than toys. I titled it that, but it's very not accurate for what the bedroom blueprint. It's not a real accurate assessment. Tell me some more things we have, so I don't leave it to just these little toys. Not little
Yeah.
toys, but
These
there's
are a
so much
whole
more.
right. So I do all women and I do couples. You can have a couples party. If you all want to book a party of your own, let me know. But you can do all couples or you can do women. I do not do co-ed, and I'll explain it later. But in an all women's thing, go from everything from vaginal health, right? Because we wanted to, I always say, if you want to have great sex, you want it to look good, smell good, taste good, and feel good. And so we take you through what that process is of vaginal health.
Looks,
We go
taste,
into
smell, look, taste, smell, feel.
feel.
Okay.
All right. And we have products for all of that. Then we kind of move into the next realm of seduction. So we talk a little bit about seducing and seduction and what that looks like and preparing yourself for that. We go into arousal and wetness because we want it to be a great, pleasurable experience. We talk about toys for him, you, and two, right? So things that will pleasure him, pleasure you, and pleasure you two together. And then we'll go into some taboo things at the end based on the audience and what they prefer, right? It's very interactive. We have some games that we play, so it's a lot of fun. On the couple side of it, however, I do everything around you all connecting with each other at the party. So even though we talk about some of the same things, but it gets a little bit more touchy-feely because some couples have not touched in years, right? This is
Wow.
when you leave a couples party with me, you're horny and ready to go home and have sex.
Okay. So, Toria says that, wow, that is rich. Sensuality has nothing to do with the bedroom. Yes, Sean, teach. That is what I've absolutely been learning the most of with Sean, is learning that sensuality has nothing to do with Sean is speaking of just being. Oh, just being. I'm not being one with myself enough. I'm realizing that I'm with myself all the time, but we never work on being one with each other. And we're so me and my girl, we're gonna get a name. Toria says she calls hers she. She just she. We don't get real names. Like Roxy got her name. We got girl ladies of he said she said with Wanda B. We're going to be giving our vaginas names. We're gonna have the name reveal. So anybody who's watching on this show, we are gonna have your vagina name reveal party. We're gonna be doing that. Maybe we'll do that May 14th. You'll reveal the name of your vagina. We'll do that in the He Said, She Said group for sure, for real, as we become one with our bodies and become friends with our vaginas. We will now have names for them, and we're going to create, they won't be just she and my girl. We're going to have names. Roxy is going to have more friends.
Yeah.
Roxy.
I'm looking forward to meeting all of you all. I really will. Please show up. I can't wait to see you all in May.
Nicole has a name for hers. Nicole says hers is Coco.
Thank you. See, there you go, Nicole. I'm loving Nicole already, girl. Let's go. Let's go, Nicole.
If you're just tuning in right now with this very moment, we're talking about becoming one with our bodies, being sensual with ourselves. The sensuality is not something that's just out of the bedroom. So with that, becoming more sensual, we're getting to know our vaginas. We're giving them names. We're becoming one with them. We've been talking about doing more than just feeling yourself, but touching or not touching and feeling. Which one am I want to go? Which way am I going with that, Sean? You want to feel yourself. And Sean asked me, the certified sexologist, the basic question of like, when you get out of the shower, out of the bath, do you feel yourself as you're putting on your lotion and as are you really feeling your body or just touching your body? And I think a lot of times I'm like, I got 5 minutes to get here and 5 minutes to get there, and I'm not taking the time to feel. So we're going to become one with our bodies. Yes, Toria Renee, if you guys, she's on, and if you tuned in right before us, so you can catch the replay, she's had a Black Love series. So it's nice that she says follows up her beautiful Black Love series. She had the men giving their perspectives today of the Black experience of love. And she comes right before me, 1 p.m. Empowering Moments with Coach T on Intellectual Radio. So thank you. So Nicole has Coco. My girl gonna get a name. And then James says, can they meet their mates? Can all the once our vaginas have names, can they meet up? No, that's not this kind of party we're talking about here, sir. So my time is up. This goes by so quickly. It goes by so quickly. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who chimes in on Facebook. I hope I always, as the 2 hours go, the first people who, and Sean, help me out, some of the names of people who've been commenting on the show. Well, Tucson, I don't forget. He's part of the He Said, She Said. I make him part of it. Thank goodness he always joins us and chimes in, and we so appreciate to have that He Said male perspective of the show. Thank you, James. Thank you, Toria. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you to, I think Chevelle was in the beginning. Pardon?
Jenny.
Penny. Thank you, Penny. Penny. Yes. Oh yeah. Thank you, Nicole. Your name says S. Nicole. I don't know how to pronounce that correctly, but she's also part of He Said, She Said. I like to say she's our astrologist for the show. Anything astrology, she is the expert on astrology for the show. So thank you to you. Again, thank you, James. And if you guys want to tune in, we're going to be having Wind Down Wednesdays. And you know what? I'm going to start doing Facebook with that. We'll do that from a Facebook in the group, though. We're going to do that in the He Said, She Said group because it is a private group. But we do Wind Down Wednesdays on the app. You can listen on New Media Text app. Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Central Time and you're at 10 p.m. your time, where we have Wind Down Wednesdays with Sean. So we're having weekly time with Sean. Wind down, bring your wine. We like to know what kind of wine you have, juice, whatever you drink, but I bring my wine. So come out with us on Wednesdays. And then thank you to everybody. If I left off a name, charge it to my head, not my heart. I'll go through the comments and I'll make sure we'll be responding to you. And then I also would like for you to register for the He Said, She Said, all things toys, all things relationship party, May 14th at the Bedroom Blueprint Events.com. And thank you, Sean. Thank you for being here again with me. I so appreciate you. So nice to have my own certified sexologist as part of the He Said. Right in my back pocket, gonna have me. I'm gonna let go of the pearls. I'm gonna rip them off, and I'm not there yet, but I'm working. I just unclipped one pearl. I still clutch them, but she's getting me there. We're getting there, girls, and we're naming our girls. Go to the group, guys. Join the group, and we're gonna be coming up names for our vaginas. I can even say vagina is a feat for me. I'm going to say it out loud because that's not a word I often. For JJ, I got a little cute, but to actually say the word vagina, and I have one and I use it, but I don't have a name for her. We're going to get a name for her, but we're going to come back next week to He Said, She Said. We're going to be doing this same time, same place. We do this at 2 p.m. and right here on IntellectualRadio.com. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tori. I think I left you off. A big thank you to you. And thank you to our sponsor today. I was married now. Thank you, guys. So appreciate you. Thank you, Sean.
No confusion. He said, she said, clearing the drama.